In this video, Mike Nelson Maths will explore developing the addition concept.
The addition concept consists of 3 parts: understanding addition and its joining, part whole, and the mental strategies to find the total.
Students will have encountered counting, so they'll understand that this is 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that this is 3, 1, 2, 3. Addition means understanding that this 5 and this 3 is 8, these 8 here. Now, note the use of the word and is when we were working there. Whilst many students would view this as a plus, it's actually the Latin symbol for and, which makes more sense when we're talking about joining collections because we have 3 and 5 making 8. Later on, we can look to add the mathematical language of things like plus, add, or sum, but early on we want to begin with and. Once students can explain addition as joining, we look at part whole. In our problem here, we want students to be able to see that part 5 and part 3 make a whole of 8. We want to explicitly use the terms part whole, and we want our students to use the terms part whole, as we will want them to learn subtraction properly. They also help us with the idea of turnaround facts. Now, notice the way the blocks are laid out. We want to lay out the blocks in a subdividing pattern as much as we can. So we have the traditional form of 5, the traditional form of 3, and the traditional form of 8. Having these blocks in a subitizing pattern means we are reducing the amount of times we need to recount. We can see that this is 5 and we can see that this is 3, rather than if we have it jumbled up, it's harder to see the 5 for students beginning their understanding. If your students are unable to see these numbers, we need to stop teaching addition and go back to teaching subitizing instead. Now that students understand that this and this join together to form this, and that we understand that is one part and this is another part to make this whole, we're ready to start looking at the ways of finding the total. So the mental strategy that we encounter when we're dealing with the addition concept is the make all count all strategy. So I've made 5 and I've made 3 and I've made my total, and I can check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I can check that that makes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
When developing the addition concept, we want to use the learning triangle, with the language and the materials introduced first together. Once these are consolidated, we can introduce the symbols with the language and materials. Only once all 3 are completely understood do we begin to remove the materials.
Initially, this would look a lot like this, where the words or the symbols are beginning to match the language and they represent the materials. So 5 and 3 is 8, or 5 and 3 is 8. If we want to introduce the written symbols, we're showing them all connected. 5 and 3 is 8, 5 and 3 is 8, and as symbols, 5 and a symbol for and, 3 for the number is represented with the equal sign, and 8. Lastly, when we're exploring the symbols and the addition concept, we want to make sure that we don't always present it in the same way. So we want students understanding that we can have the answer first, the whole first, and then the 2 parts, as well as part whole. So this would be read as 8 is 5 and 3. So we're not looking at the turnaround facts yet. We're just building this idea that 8 is 5 and 3, 5 and 3 is 8. It's the same thing regardless of what order we're reading it in. Thanks for watching. Follow for more videos. Comment if you like this for part 2 on how we introduce the turnaround concept.